Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I am back again with another video. Welcome to the channel. As you can see, I do have a guest here. His name is Mali. He is a narcissistic abuse survivor and advocate, entrepreneur. He's just gonna join me today. We're just gonna be talking about narcissists and how we overcame it, just share our story. So yeah, hey Mali, how are you today?
Joy, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How's your day
Very.
so far?
My day has been really busy. I know, we had a chance to message each other real quick during the day. It's been busy. This is my third set of clothes that I'm wearing now. And when I get finished here, I'm going to eat. That's what we're going to do. Yes.
Okay, cool. What are you planning on eating? Do you know?
I don't know. So my current life situation is I have my kids every other week. So they're not here this week. So this week is just me and the dog. So this is bachelor week. So whatever is, in the refrigerator that's edible, we're gonna be creative and we're gonna create a meal.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
It's my week off from structure. When when I pick up my kids, you know, we'll go and we'll make sure everything's structured. When it's me, it's bachelor pad.
Bachelor. I feel you on that. Yeah, I'm just chilling myself. I just finished my little gig that I was doing, and now I ate earlier, so I'm full. But I'm just
Well,
chilling
what
now
did you
right now.
have?
Um, I actually had so I'm a pescatarian, so I had they look like chicken, but they're like strips, but it tastes like chicken, but it's not. So I had those. I warmed them up in the oven, and then I had some pasta, and then I had salad on the side and some garlic bread. So it was pretty good.
Well, I'm a
And
pescatarian as well.
you're a pescatarian too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for how long?
Oh my gosh, 20 years.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously?
Just seriously, maybe 21 now.
Oh wow. What made you become a pescatarian?
Oh boy. Well, you know what? Being originally from Philadelphia, and there's a lot of Muslims there. Um, Pork was never really a thing in the diet. Let's see. I did do chicken and turkey. And then honestly, if I could just be all out honest, there was this book that I read. It was called Nutricide by a gentleman named Dr. Africa. And he
Mm,
basically said if you continue to eat, you're gonna die. So
mm,
it scared the daylights out of me. And I actually went vegan for a little over a year. And
mhm.
then I said, you know what, I really miss salmon, sushi. So I was like, well, we're just gonna have to find a healthy balance. Now I don't do milk per se. I do almond milk, but I don't do any dairy milk. I don't do chicken. I don't do turkey. That stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of my meals are more towards plant based, with the exception of salmon. Sometimes I'll have tuna, but everything else is plant based.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That sounds good. Nice. So, you kind of was already talking about it. So, just kind of give us a little bit of background about yourself.
sure. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Well, I guess the way that I became a YouTuber was from watching YouTube videos and finding out that I was not crazy for what it was that I had endured. And it's generational. Narcissism is definitely generational in my family. So, my mother, she's a narcissist, and when I look at my family dynamic, there are no men in my family. You know,
Mm,
it's all women,
mm,
um, and there's a lot to be said about that from a relationship standpoint, as to because I think I feel like a lot of times we begin to generalize sexes, and we say, well, all men do this, or all women do this, or most women, or most men. And I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like if we really took the opportunity to break down the family dynamic and why we see so many households where we're not having a male presence, and not to say that they're um, that that it doesn't happen, because it does. I
Right.
feel like society might put a brighter light on it than it actually is, making it seem like it's worse than it is, but it definitely is a problem. So I was raised in one of those households, and at an early age, my mother said, well, I'm the mother and the father. So
Mm.
there was this emasculation thing going on. So as a young man, and you start thinking about relationships, the way I thought was, I want to be a better father than the father I didn't have, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that meant that I was going to bend over backwards for my woman. Not saying that there's a problem with that, but when you're dealing with a female covert narcissist, and
Right.
I think you and I spoke about this before, like, when a man is a narcissist, his power might be, his physical strength, his finances, his network. But a woman is able to entice in ways that a man can't.
Mm.
And there's also that damsel in distress. So, men will want to put on a cape and want to save a woman.
Mhm.
And this is like the perfect playground for a female covert narcissist.
Mhm.
So, I've dealt with that mostly from women, but I had a good friend who, if he wasn't a narcissist, very toxic.
Mhm.
And probably one of the biggest things that I've understand, and you might have some experience with this as well. When you look at your life, Joy, do you realize that, like, most toxic people make you feel like you're crazy for wanting to be normal?
Yep. All the
Or
time.
even, yeah, or even this one, and this is going to trip people out. When people
Yeah.
say, when you learn how to talk, when you get some class about you, and say, "Oh, you're
Mhm.
talking like a white person."
Yes.
So
All
so
the
wait a minute,
time.
wait a
Yes.
minute. We supposed to talk broken English at the job too?
Man.
That's toxic behavior. I'm not saying it's
Right.
narcissism, but it's just
Yeah.
toxic. It's
It's
like,
toxic. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean y'all going on a cruise? Who does that?
Right.
People that love each other and save money. I mean, like, what are we supposed to do?
That's funny you say that, Molly, because I remember so I was a native of Delaware,
Hmm.
and when I moved to California, I was like 17, so I was like super young. But from time to time, I would be going back and forth to like visit my family, back home in Delaware, and I guess I had like kind of picked up their language, how they talk, their accent. And so when I come back, they'd be like, "Oh, why are you talking like that? You talk so proper. Like, what's up?" So I was just like, I'm being myself. But again, it's just, people are just so used to being a certain way, and they don't realize like people grow and they expand. It doesn't mean that they're wrong or that they feel that they're better or they're being uppity. It's just like you learn different ways and how to conduct yourself. So
Right.
yeah, I definitely get it. So so it sounds like you already mentioned it. So like sounds like you're overcoming narcissistic abuse, and do you feel like you're still overcoming that now? Does that still a struggle for you, or?
No, no. I think I took like a crash course. I think everything just came full circle. While I never knew what it was that my mother was, when I really understood the issues that I was having with my ex-wife, it helped me to understand, my mother. It helped me to understand certain people that I attracted to me, right? Because that's something that we do as an empath, or codependent or whatever. We attract these people to us, and we feel like there's something wrong with us. There's something that we did, when
Mhm.
it actually is, we have lowered boundaries.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
probably one of the first defenses that we can do is, strengthening our boundaries. But, for the most part, I wouldn't want to be one of those people who wasn't able to overcome something or have a different perspective of it before I began to talk about it. So
Right.
on my YouTube channel, what I do is I share experiences, because the thing, and you'll probably agree with me here, even though you overcome it, you can't overcome the human condition, right?
Right.
And
Right.
people are being bred to be narcissists. When you look at, society, and everyone, like, the world is just so cold
Yeah,
now.
it is.
People are not giving each other an opportunity to learn. You said the G word, you said grow. We're not
Right.
giving each other an opportunity to grow. Does that mean that you save someone? Absolutely not. But if you're judging the content of somebody's character, unless you say, oh, I really like this person, but they came out of a bad relationship, and it's like, that doesn't mean that, okay, you start brain dumping on them like all your emotional crap that you have going on. But it's like, people don't even want to hear it, and we all have a story.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it was important for me to heal, because I'm big on being a product of the product, whatever that is. So if I'm going to talk to somebody about healing, I have to know how to heal myself, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and I definitely
What about you?
understand. I had to take a while, to heal and recover from this because it was hard. I lived with my aunt for 5 years. She was a narcissist, and this guy that I dated, I met him on Twitter. He was a narcissist. So, I mean, if
A
a person
Twitter
can only
narc.
say that again.
A Twitter narc.
Yeah, and most narcissists are actually online, which is crazy because it's like they could hide themselves. Like you don't really know who they are, and you don't get a feel for them. So, but obviously when you meet them, they love bomb you and all that stuff. But like it takes time for them to get that mask down, and you really see who they really are. But me personally, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the most narcissists are in LA. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because, and not all, I just feel like because most people in LA are trying to do something. They're trying to be a star or a model, a basketball player, an actor, and so they're always looking to get something from someone. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with knowing people and marketing and networking with people. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like when you're doing that and you're exploiting people,
Right.
at their own expense, and you don't have any remorse, no regret, no guilt, and you just discard that person like they was an object. I'm just like, so did I not matter? Like what
Right.
happened? So I don't know. I've never had this happen in my life, and I've been to a lot of places. I've never dealt with narcissists until I lived in LA. So that's just
Wow.
me. And somebody else may feel differently, but that was just my experience.
No, I
Uh,
mean, and I think you made some valid points, and I think because I remember a time when you went to a different region of the world, like it felt like something different. Like,
yeah,
you go to Chicago and there's a certain language and there's a
yeah,
certain dress code. You go to Philly, when you go to Philly, that used to be the only place where you saw like men with a big beard. You know,
right.
and I think what social media has done, it has unified the world for all the wrong reasons.
Mm,
So like you're saying, like LA, like in Hollywood. So from
yes.
Hollywood, then what do we get? We got reality TV, right? And
Mhm.
then you started giving everybody a show about every situation. What was it like? I don't want to 15 and pregnant.
Oh yeah, 15 and pregnant.
Right.
Yep. The
Right. So
housewives
we
and
normalize all
yeah,
this dysfunction. We
yeah,
normalize all this dysfunction, and then tell people that you can be a star if you
yeah,
just let us into your life. And then what happens with these reality TV shows, like a lot of them are scripted,
yeah,
so then people see that and that's what they want to be. So
yeah,
like you're saying, yes, I agree, it might have started in Los Angeles, or that might be the birthplace of it, the land of Los Angeles. But
yeah.
it has permeated like throughout society now.
Oh yeah, and then the thing is, it's a worldwide thing because I mean, I have a lot of people that hit me up, and they say, thank you for sharing your story. You really helped me heal. People that I've did sessions with and coaching with, and they were from all over the world. So I mean, this is like a worldwide issue, and I'm just hoping one day it'll go away, but it's gonna take some time. It definitely takes awareness and just the willing to change, and a perspective. Stop thinking that you're better than other people just because you have these certain things or you look a certain way. So, but yeah, so Molly, what would you say is what was your coping mechanisms or strategies that help you the most during this time while overcoming narcissistic abuse?
To be honest with you, I think the gift and the curse was YouTube. And I say the gift and the curse because, like, you can definitely learn how to cope by watching YouTube videos, learning different tactics that the narcissist will use, um, and how you should respond to it. Notice I didn't say react, but respond.
Right.
But then I think what happens is people start to ruminate on the
Mm,
ruminate on the situation.
right.
It's like any form of trauma, any form of PTSD, you will get yourself wrapped back into it. So here you are, you're watching these videos, you're just trying to get an understanding. Then you're dealing with the cognitive dissonance, because you were so, all the endorphins and all that were bouncing off the roof when you were dealing with this person. You're like, why can't they just be the way they were the first 3 months or the first 6 months? They're still in there somewhere. And it's like, no, they were never
No.
that person. And that's the
Mm-mm.
hardest thing to understand. So then you're locked into your YouTube, and then you got them calling you on your phone. Then you got them sending you text messages. Then you got them, so they're hoovering.
Yeah.
So when you're ruminating, you're not able to get away. And that's the reason why no contact is so big. So when you said, or so important. So that's why when you said coping mechanism, probably, along with watching the videos, you also have to be able to implement no contact. Now,
Right.
my kids are a little bit older, not a little bit, but a lot older. So no contact was, where I was able to clear my thoughts, clear my mind. I wasn't worried about this other person. Um, you know, I guess everybody has to work and make it, work it to your advantage, I guess, because not every narcissist is the same. They operate on a spectrum. So it's like, if gray rock works for you, that's fine. If no contact, but you always want to try to get as close to no contact as you can.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That really kind of saved my life, to be honest with you. With the narcs that I dealt with, the no contact and just blocking them, deleting them,
Mm-hmm.
from all social media, getting rid of pictures and memories, and just knowing like what I deserved and understanding like how I was being treated and how I felt is just like, this is not healthy. It's not something that's going to benefit me in any way. You know what I mean? So just realizing that and just saying, I'm done, family or romantic relationship, so and how we connected through Facebook though, right? Is you saw my posts in Facebook?
Right. We were actually a part of the same group.
Oh.
Don't ask me which one, because I don't
It's
remember the
okay.
group. But like, I'm a big energy person. Like, I'm big on energy. So, um, I think I always had that ability, but I think once I was able to kind of like deal with my own personal situation,
Mhm.
that God-given ability, it just it got really strong again.
Good.
Um so, picking up on your energy, and I was like, you know what, well, let me just reach out to her. And I feel like we click really good. So, and that spawned this, and hopefully the viewers will enjoy the content, and we'll get an opportunity to do it again. But I enjoy the energy, because
Oh,
as
thank
soon as
you.
I hit you up, you hit me back, and then we took it into the to the direct message, and it kept going, because sometimes you can message somebody and then you'll get a response, and it's like, hmm. It's just like, okay, well,
You're funny. So I did want to ask you, Molly, so what does your support system look like at this time, after dealing with all of this? How is that for you right now?
it's good. It's good. Like my kids are my support system because they're my kids. I don't try to involve them in this situation at all.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, when you have an ex, and an ex that you believe to have, because we're not diagnosing people here.
Right.
But if you look at the characteristics of someone who has narcissistic personality disorder, because we all have some narcissism in us, right? So if you have identified that this person has a lot more NPD characteristics than not, and you have children, they're always going to use the kids as pawns. You inadvertently might use the kids as pawns sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's something I try to be very cautious of when you're trying to get out of the situation. Sometimes your elbows get a little scraped, but outside of my children just being my backbone,
Mm.
I have great friends. So I feel like when you go through narcissistic abuse, you really begin to find out what kind of people you have in your life, what kind of people
Yes.
fighting, because I think this is the reason why the narcissists and the flying monkeys are able to kind of like bring you back into it, because you'll
Right.
be confiding in someone, and the next thing you know, they'll be going and telling other family members, or they might go back to the narcissist, and then here you are, you feel like, because a lot of people stay in a relationship because they don't feel like they deserve better, because like you were saying earlier, you knew what you deserved. A lot
Right.
of people don't feel like they deserve better, or they don't feel like they are better than that, and they might even be comfortable. They
Right.
might be
Exactly.
comfortable, because some people would rather stay with the evil they know
Yeah.
versus the evil that they
The
don't know, or
unknown.
the unknown,
Yeah,
right?
the unknown. Yeah. And I definitely feel that. I mean, a lot of people will settle, and there's no judgment, because I mean, sometimes we all do it, but it just takes
Right,
time and experience. But
right,
yeah, it's a sad thing. But me myself, like I said, I just learned, like, hey, this, I'm not happy. I'm not getting anything out of it. I noticed that I felt uncomfortable. I felt sad. I felt lonely,
hmm,
and I'm thinking like, I need to move on. You know what I mean? It's like I gotta find better. I have to do better for myself. And the thing about me though, luckily I had a handful of friends at the time. Luckily, because at that period of time, the narcissist had isolated me, and since I had moved away from my aunt, she lived about, I want to say, like 30 minutes away from me. So I wasn't able to like go and see her. So pretty much I was just by myself. And thank God, my really good friend of 10 years, which we're still friends to today, she lives in California now. She was my really biggest support. And I thank her every day. She helped me to kind of go out again. And I wasn't like in the house and stuff like that. I went out and we was traveling. That really helped me a lot. And she just said, Joy, you deserve better. Get over this. And I'm not like that, but she's like, you're worth more. You can find somebody better. I mean, obviously, if he wanted to be with you, he would be, but he's not. So, yeah, just understanding that.
yeah. Oh, let me
Um,
add some. Let me
yeah,
add something, because you did
yeah,
say coping, and I
yeah.
I wasn't really thinking like coping, but I guess it was
Hmm.
probably the biggest coping mechanism was being able to create music,
Mm,
because um I was in that relationship for 19 years, right? I was
mm,
in that relationship for 19 years, and music was always a point of contention. There was once upon a time when I wanted to be all in the music industry and all that, and because of it, I saw the pain and the stress and the frustration that it was causing this other person. I literally left music alone for 12, 13 years.
mm.
So I put that passion into something else, which was I got my cosmetology and barber license, and then now I'm in the hair industry. Now I own a unisex hair salon,
Oh,
and doing hair was like my third love. So I was like, if I can do hair and that's my third love and be successful at it, why not try my hand at music? So I literally said to the narcissist, my ex, I said, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm tired of putting it on hold. If you're not with me, you're against me.
right.
So I know that at the time I really had a lot of things lined up, because I actually did a video called, talking about when the narcissist will leave you. So the
Mhm.
narcissist will leave you when you're in the need for emotional support,
Right.
financial support, all of these things. You're in a time of need. You just lost a loved one, you lost your job, something like that. When you need that person to be your rock, that's when they're going to leave you.
Right.
Uh, so at the time when my music I felt was like at its best, I started going through all of this. I'm going through divorce. I'm going through custody. Last thing I wanted to do again was be creative and write. And my team, who are also my brothers, my brotherhood, my wolf pack, they said, man, you gotta create. You gotta put this pain out. And I think that's what not only spurred now. even better music, but that also inspired the YouTube channel. So yeah, I would, it's a coping mechanism, but that's ultimately what it became. Therapy, I should say. I would say therapy versus coping, but
Mm-hmm.
still the same.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know I was into music myself. The whole reason why I met my narc was because I was interested in making instrumentals. He was a music producer, entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And, what the crazy part about it is like I didn't even believe in myself. I was like, I can't make a beat. Like I used to do like the FL Studio and the Reason and
Oh, okay.
yeah, but obviously I lost that passion because of everything that happened.
Right.
And
It'll suck it out.
I was literally I was doing it, and then after all this happened, he discarded me and started parading around the new supply. And I actually reached out to him. You know what he said? He was like, yeah, you saw my Facebook post, didn't you? Because he posted a picture of the new person. And he was like, did I kill your dreams? And I was like, no, you didn't. But deep down, he really did, like just for a little bit, right? But
Right.
he literally asked me that because that was his true intentions of killing my dreams. So yeah, they're very they're dangerous. I was talking about that in my other interview. But yes. So and tell us more. You say you have some singles coming out, right? Some
Right. Well, yeah, we've spent a little bit of time with creating some musical therapy for survivors, strivers, thrivers. So last year I actually put out a EP featuring Quinn Holiday of ASSC Direct Group. If people are familiar with his channel, Quinn was one of the people whose YouTube videos that I watched. And the thing that drew me to Quinn's videos was that I had an opportunity to see a black man who had also been abused. Because again, being a man is one thing, being a black man is a whole other thing. When you talk about,
Mm,
yeah, I'm hurt, somebody abused me, they're like, get over it. So that's one of the things that drew me to his videos. And I actually reached out to him for a counseling session. We got to talk. Really cool guy. And, we just kind of put together the project. So that project is called Departure of Empathy 2. Two is spelled like the number two. And it's a 4-song project. So from that, we had um, of course, the title track, Departure of Empathy. There's a song called No Contact.
cool.
There's a song called Mask. And probably the most um, popular song from that particular EP was Trust Issues. And then most recently, I'm working on a joint collaboration with another YouTuber by the name of Narc Survivor. So the first single is called Toxic as Fuck. So he put it on his channel. I also put the video on my channel. It's a lyric video. And then the day before Thanksgiving, why do I keep saying Thanksgiving? Because I'm
You must be
thankful.
hungry,
I'm
honey.
thankful. And I'm hungry. Right. The day before Valentine's Day is when we released Naked. So Naked is all about what you and I are talking about now, being on the other side of this abuse and being able to love again, because we are going to give ourselves a shot at love. We're going to be vulnerable. We're going to trust the process, because I would probably ask you, like, Joy, how many people have you come across, who have said, oh, well, love doesn't work for me, I'm done with love, because of what they experienced? Would you say it's a lot?
Mm. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I would say a lot. Yeah.
And that's sad, because then the narcissist wins. And the thing I would say to people is like, okay, so if you got fired from your job, are you just going to just quit working and just, I'm just going to be homeless? No, like, you
Mm,
have to go after love with intention, just
right.
like you go after a job with intention, just like you go after a degree with intention. Like,
Mhm.
love, if it's really love, is not just going to fall on your lap. And then
Right.
once it's there, you have to protect it, right? You have to protect it against external forces. You guys have to develop good communication so that you don't have any internal. So it's a whole exercise.
Right.
Love, so when we feel like we're cheated out of love, and it's like, really, the narcissist is teaching us something.
Yeah, they are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know. So just to finish up that part, so yeah, we dropped that the day before Valentine's Day, and then there's a song called Narcissist, and then there's another song called Smear Campaign.
Okay.
And then also what I'm doing right now is for people who sign up to get on my email list. What I'm doing is I'm dropping like special like behind the scenes videos for, you know, thrivers, just so that they can kind of maintain the thriver mentality. And I'm
Right.
also like releasing music that I'm not going to release anywhere else. It's just kind of like a
Mm.
special thanks for signing up for the email.
Oh wow, I really love that a lot. We're definitely gonna have to leave that information in the bio so we can all follow that the music and everything that you're doing.
And you're gonna have to hear. Let me hear some of these beats. Let me see what you
Yeah,
wrote.
go
Um,
ahead.
you know, when you said, and I think when we were getting a chance to know each other, you had told me about that. And you know, I just love, you know, obviously I love to collaborate.
Yeah,
Because you know you're able to get different perspectives, right? We all have a perspective,
yeah,
and you know, being able to express ourselves, that in itself is art. So like
absolutely.
I love this whole thing. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with this now. I'm gonna go with this thing that I'm feeling. So
Okay.
after after going through narcissism, you said you experienced it with in the relationship sense. You also experienced it with family members.
Mhm.
Um, what was the biggest thing that you learned about yourself?
The biggest thing that I learned about myself is that I am actually stronger than I know.
Mm,
Stronger than I know, and that I could overcome anything.
mm,
Even if it's meant to be negative, even if it's meant to destroy me, I could overcome it.
right, I feel that.
How about you? What would you say?
I don't know. Um, just because I always knew I was strong, you know, I knew I was strong, but I felt like being in a relationship meant that you was just supposed to take shit.
Mm.
You know, like I've always been strong willed. Like I'm persistent as hell. Like that's and I think in my case, you know, because like I said, I have kids. I'm still dealing with her. You're still dealing with the narcissist.
Right.
Like the narcissist doesn't know when to quit,
Yeah.
right? So she can try to smear me, but you know, and I'm sure like whoever, you know, whoever's in your past trying to smear you, like I'm an advocate out here. I got music out here. Like she had the moment she stops, she's gonna have to hear, wait a minute, he's this, because it don't look like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like
Right.
she's gonna fight until like, like I'm drowning. You see that last second, you know, before it sinks down in the water. So it's like I know what I'm up against. So I mean, like, what did I learn about myself? Like again, having a mother who's a narcissist, I always knew I was strong. I think what I learned is why I'm strong. I think
Mm.
I learned that I'm strong because I have to help people. I have to show people how to do this who who feel like God is punishing them.
Right.
Um, or people who feel like there was something wrong that they did. And that's why I'm big, Joy, I'm so big on telling people like the narcissist taught you something about yourself.
They did.
Maybe
Absolutely.
you know, not you per se, but it's like maybe we were too nice. You
Yeah.
know, you know, you don't ignore red flags. At the bare minimum, if someone is showing you red flags, communicate with them. So then, like you say, well, hey, you know, I don't like when you do this silent treatment thing. You know, if it's someone who's like an empathic person, they'll say, well, oh, you know, I'm sorry about that. You know, I know that that's something that I do. I've been working on it. You know, I apologize. You're not going to hear that from a narcissist, right?
Not at all.
You know,
Not
you
at all.
communicate it. You
Yeah.
know, now if you keep seeing that same red flag, then you know you need to pitch up the tent and get the hell out of Dodge.
Yes. Definitely. I agree 100%. So, Molly, what advice would you give to those listening who's finding their way through their journey? With
Hmm.
abuse?
Advice. That's a good question. And I hate to sound cliche, but I would say you have to trust the process. And the process is you're going to have to break yourself down. You're going to have to be broken down in order to rebuild. And that's the, for the victim, the survivor, if you will, that's the hardest thing to do, is to look into the mirror and admit that there are some things wrong with us. There
Right.
are some things that attracted this person to us. There's a reason why they came to us, and they looked at us and we look like free lunch.
Yep. You're
To a
right.
narcissist, we look like free damn lunch. You
Yep.
know,
They eat us right up. They sure do.
no, it. So it's like
Right.
you have to trust the process. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. What you want to try to do is you just want to try to remain the same. Don't get too high, don't get too low. And something that you touched on earlier, have a good support system. So good support system doesn't mean you can necessarily talk to these people about narcissism,
Right.
because if they don't know what it is, you're just going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
But a good support system, meaning that you might be able to just vent, or like you said, you had you had your friends that were had you traveling and just keeping your mind off of things.
Right.
um
Yes. Absolutely.
you know what I mean? So that's good to have. You got to have a good support system. Join Facebook groups. We have,
Mhm.
and you just joined our group, so thank you for that.
Yes.
Surviving, striving, and thriving after narcissistic abuse. We don't focus on the ruminating. We don't focus on, oh, when you see a narcissist, shoot them. Like, we focus on how can we be the best versions of ourselves. So if I didn't, thank you for joining the group. I just want to extend that to you again. We love your energy. I love your energy.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I
Thank
guess, oh, I
you.
want to ask you another question.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
So now, could you could you see yourself in love again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you asked that because I do live streams every Sunday.
Hmm.
And one of my subscribers was saying that she doesn't want to date anymore. And I totally get that. I used to feel that way. But I was like, it's almost as if the narcissist won because you wasn't like that before. And I'm not saying that that's wrong to not want to date. I totally get it because narcissists do things to people and it's traumatizing. Like you can't
Right.
get over it because they've never experienced it before. So they don't really know how to deal with it.
Right.
But no, I just decided, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I gotta heal. I gotta take time and recover because obviously this is not a normal relationship. It's not a normal breakup. But
Right.
after I took that time to heal, and I was like, all right, I can get back out there again, because I realized, yeah, there was things that I needed to fix about myself. But at the end of the day, I overcame it. Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I just, I need to work on it and then,
Mhm.
I move on to the next relationship. And I learned that lesson. Like you said, look out for those red flags and don't ignore it, and then just go on from there. But also too, I had to forgive myself. That was the big thing. Like
Yeah.
I beat myself up so bad. I was so hard on myself. I was angry. I was angry with God too. I love God so much. That's one thing about me. That's the lesson that I learned. Like both of two narcissists in my life and one borderline. But the two narcissists that was in my life taught me to become so close to God. Like I was never this close to God in my life. Even like growing up in church and stuff with my family, I didn't really know God. I just knew like we go into church, we pray, and by the time we leave, we pray.
Right.
But
And that collection plate gonna go around about 3 seven.
right, right. But
Yeah.
yeah. So one thing, yeah, I love God now, and it's just a blessing because I feel like maybe if I didn't have those experiences, maybe I wouldn't be so close to God. So I always try to see the pros and the cons of a situation, although it was devastating to deal with that. But now I'm on the other side, so
Right.
definitely a blessing.
Right. And
But
you in order to win, you have to know what it's like to lose.
absolutely,
you know
yes.
and not to say that it's necessarily like win lose, like in that regard, but when you lose things, so
Hmm.
it's like when you lose things, you start to determine, okay, how valuable was this thing that I lost?
Yeah,
So when we're on the other side of a relationship with a narcissist, it's like, okay, this relationship or situation shit or whatever you want to call it, it's not there anymore.
right.
Okay, even if they hoover, it's never going to be the same again, because you're going to go right back into the evaluation stage. So what am I actually losing by being in this relationship with this toxic person? Everything is telling me that I need to leave. Everything is telling me that they are no good for me. What am I hanging on to?
Right.
And again, I'm speaking from my experience of 19 years. I went through 19
Woo,
years. Am I going to sit here and
man,
go, hmm?
that's a long time.
I mean, and I know it's different now.
Right.
And like for instance, like I know a lot of adults, like adults, who their longest relationship might be like 2-3 years or something like that. And this person could be like 40, 45. Like, these are adults. So
Mhm.
we're just in a different society's in a different place.
It
um
is.
but I think that when, like I said in the beginning, when I got into a relationship, and if people are familiar with my music, like the song like Trust Issues, like, she got pregnant, she was on the pill. I didn't want to, I wasn't ready to be no dad, but I didn't have a dad, so the last thing I was going to do was leave. So I was like, okay, well, this is where I start having kids. This is where the story ends.
Yeah.
um but after 19 years of that, year 2 you're ready to go, year 5
Mhm.
you're ready to go, year 10 you're ready to go, year
Right.
15, oh, I can't do that to the kids.
Mhm.
And it's just like, no, you just get to the point where enough is enough, because like it's like, if I stay here, then spiritually I'm going to die, and then physically I'm just going to follow suit.
Yeah. I actually saw a meme. They said like the reasons why some of us can't get over the heartbreak is, they say, is because not only do they break our hearts, but they actually break our spirit. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that's true.
It's like Amistad all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So Molly, I guess I kind of already know, but like, I guess, how do you feel about speaking about narcissistic abuse now? Like, do you feel differently than previously, or is it just kind of?
As far as, give me a time frame that we're talking about when you
So
say,
just like right now, like, how we're talking about it, like, do you feel like okay talking about it? Does it make you angry? Does it you feel like, oh, okay, I learned my lesson, or you know,
yeah, I'm
better, or
listen, Joy, I was in court
Mhm.
last week for custody.
Mhm.
And this is almost 2.5 years removed from being out of that relationship, and
Mm.
we've already had a custody order, and it's all been done, and then it came up again, right? So I think from last week, comparing last week to 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I was so pissed off.
Mm.
Anybody who asked me how I was feeling or how I was dealing with it, I had all this anger and frustration for the narcissist, right? But like now it's like, okay, part of the disorder is they're in arrested development. Like, it's Groundhog Day for them.
Right.
So why would I get angry with someone who literally can't help but be crazy as hell?
Yeah, I
If
like how
I'm
you
mad
put
as
that.
hell
Yeah.
and I'm dealing with somebody who's crazy as hell, then I'm crazy as hell my damn self.
To
So
me,
go
I
ahead.
I call them batshit crazy. Excuse my language. I don't like the curse like
I'm
that, but I,
what? Damn it! Give
huh?
give him another one.
I'm just like, you are just psychotic. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, and a lot of them don't take no for an answer. They don't leave you alone. It's just like, dude, leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. And you know what? You know what? I honestly, because I've heard women say that, and I
mm,
want to say that women will get that from men. I'm gonna go out on a
yeah,
quick.
that's true. You're
I
right.
say
Yeah.
women get that from men more, because again, I'm a confident guy. Always been a confident guy. So the female that I was dealing with is not going to come to me, please take me back, please take me back. If anything, when I said to her, look, this shit is over, right?
Right.
She says, well, I can have, I don't remember the number was, I don't remember what number she said. I can have 15, 17 guys like that. I was like, you you whore. Like,
What?
that doesn't make me want you. That doesn't make me want, like, if anything, I'm just like, whoa, I should have did this like 10 years sooner.
Man,
You
it
know?
just kind of shows you their true colors, you know,
Yeah.
like,
You don't mean anything to them because,
right.
you know, like you know, she works in a professional setting, so she's very good at putting the mask on. I'll say that she's very good at putting the mask on. Because I could be like, look, 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 and then, you know, they'll turn around, look at her, and angel wings will come out of her back. You
Mhm.
know, so she's very, very deceptive
Oh yeah.
in that way, you know?
They're. I always say they're actors. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
my narc, the guy narc that I dealt with, he told me he would people watch. Like he would watch people. Like he'd go to Starbucks all the time, and he just watch people and see how they like interact. I mean, because it's like he doesn't have a personality. He has to mimic others. So it's like he's
Right.
not being himself. He's just, you know, following what other people are doing. You know, but he's doing that to get a certain result and get basically to get a supply. You know.
Right. Well,
Uh,
are you familiar? I know you don't, you know, you want to stay away from kind of cursing, but you know this is a thing. So the shit test, you know what that is, right?
kind of, but what do you kind of tell me about it a
So
little bit?
shit test. Shit test is where they basically, like you say, they observe people,
Yeah.
right? They people watch. So once you have gone through the idolization phase and they know what you like and why you like it, and they know your pains and they know your hurt, and you've told them your whole life story. So the shit test is it kind of like works right in between the idolization and the devaluation stage, because now they're going to start doing things that agitate you.
Right.
And then when you catch up on it, so you can also shake in a little bit of crazy making in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Because then when let's just say, for instance, like what's the shit test? Oh, you guys are supposed to meet for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or he was supposed to take you out for dinner, pick you up, and he's 15 minutes late getting there. And then he pulls up, you get in the car, and you're all kind of upset, right? You don't even want to go out anymore. And then
Mm-hmm.
kind of like talk you down and
Yeah.
you oh, you know, I'm sorry. But what he's doing is, okay, he sees that's what it takes to get you
That's
pissed
what it.
off.
Yes, you are right.
Now, if
Wow.
you would have gotten in the
You're
car, you
right.
15 minutes late, and you would have gotten in the car and be like, oh, babe, you know, don't worry about it. We still got time to make our reservation. He's like, in his head, he's like, fuck. I
I
gotta do something.
know. You're so right. They're very like
hmm
so
It's
cunning and
it's all
manipulative.
sadistic, right? Cunning, sadistic. It's all with
It's
the
crazy.
intention of, you know,
They want to
mess.
push your buttons.
hmm
They want to find out what that button is and they want to trigger you so that way, you know, they can always have that control over you, you know.
hmm
So we
Yeah.
definitely have to do this again. I know it's so much for us to talk about, but
Yeah.
so just before we head out, how can we find you on social media, your website, your music, and everything
Oh
you're working
God, you can find me at, well, the music is streaming everywhere. You can also go on my website, which is Mali MALIOSAGE.com. You know, I have YouTube videos up there, I have music up there. Like I said, if you sign up and get on the email list, there's special giveaways and things like that.
on?
My YouTube channel is also Mali Osage. IG is Mali underscore Osage. Um, oh, the Facebook group, because we're always looking for more survivors, strivers, and thrivers, is Surviving, Striving, and Thriving After Narcissistic Abuse. I think that's everything. And for my viewers, Joy, how can we find you other than on the opposite end of me?
Oh, yeah, be at livenarcfree.com and all social media platforms is livenarcfree. So you guys
Nice.
hit me up. And last but not least, before we head out of here, Ali, I just wanted to ask if you met your younger self, what would you say to them?
Because I can remember like some lottery numbers that hit, so that probably doesn't count.
You're so funny.
Like, play this number.
I know, right?
2007, play this number. No, I would say you're going, hmm, be ready to adapt and overcome.
Mm, I love that.
You got to go through it. So I would never tell somebody, "Hey, duck," because maybe you're supposed to get hit with that.
Mm.
So be ready to adapt and overcome.
Wow, I love that so much. Well, Mali, I really do appreciate you for coming on here. It was definitely a pleasure. Um,
Likewise,
we're
Joy.
Yes, indeed. We're going to definitely put all your links below in the description box so you know they could reach out to you and vice versa.
Yep.
So yeah, this is pretty much it, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Let us know what was your biggest takeaway, what you learned. So that's all I have. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.